So for today's video, I'm doing something that I saw a bunch of people do in different ways. I'm going to rank my books from 2022, everything that I read in 2022, and try to find the best book of 2022 using kind of like the bracket form, but I'm not going to write anything down and I'm not going to make a chart. I'm just going to do like kind of this or that. I have all the books that I read put in here on little scraps of paper, and I'm just going to pick two out, pick the one I like the best, and then make two piles, and then we'll kind of go down until I get to one book. There is not the right amount of books. I read, I think, 52 books in 2022, so it doesn't really break down into the right number for a bracket. So I'm gonna, rub my last two brain cells together and see if I can figure out how to make the numbers work as we go. Like maybe I'll do all of them until I get to 26, and then I'll keep using the discard pile until I get 6 more. Let's do that. Let's see if I can make that work. So, okay, here's all my scraps, and I'm just gonna pull two at a time and see what we get. So, Love the One You Hate by R.S. Gray and A Court of Mist and Fury. A Court of Mist and Fury was a reread, so I'm gonna put Love the One You Hate. Discovery of Witches and Finding Your Element, A Discovery of Witches. I did not like Finding Your Element. The Monarchs by Cass Morgan and Daniel Page, and Dial A for Aunties. Dial A for Aunties, I think. Okay. Gotta go more rapid fire than this, my gosh. Okay, Shadow of Night and a +1 for murder. +1 for murder. Okay, Simply Clean. The Hawthorne Legacy, definitely the Hawthorne Legacy. Okay. The Fortunate Ones, another R.S. Gray. 2022 was the year of R.S. Gray. Crave. I'm gonna say The Fortunate Ones. Okay. Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. The Eye of the World. The Eye of the World, for sure. The Inheritance Games. Well Matched. The Inheritance Games. Okay. Pink Is Not a Color. That was like a children's book. It was very cute though. Halloween, and it's gonna win because Halloween Party Murder was terrible. So Pink Is Not a Color. Alright, Vow of Thieves, or Crown of Midnight, Vow of Thieves. Alright, The Book of Life, and Nettle and Bone. Nettle and Bone for sure. Okay, I'm Glad My Mom Died. The Ravens, oh. I'm Glad My Mom Dies was really good, but like enjoyment factor, I'm gonna have to go with The Ravens. I'm Glad My Mom Dies was amazing. I mean, everybody read it, everybody talked about it, it was great, but The Ravens was just so good. I enjoyed it. Not a Happy Family, a thriller, and The Great Hunt. We're gonna say The Great Hunt, even though The Eye of the World was better. Book Lovers, automatic win. Versus Ancillary Justice, definitely Book Lovers. Alright. Anything You Can Do, another R.S. Gray. One Step Too Far, Anything You Can Do. That was probably my favorite R.S. Gray. Okay, The Taming of the Shrew. A Court of Wings and Ruin, A Court of Wings and Ruin. Second First Impressions, Nothing Will Ever Top the Hating Game. That's by Sally Thorne. And A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I'm gonna say Not So Meet Cute because Second First Impressions did not impress me. Alright, The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. Mask of Mirrors. The Mask of Mirrors is definitely gonna win. The Fill-In Boyfriend was not. I was that's not the stage of life I'm in to be reading Casey West books anymore. Alright, Date Me Like You Mean It. Another R.S. Gray, I believe. And You Were There Too. I don't even remember the R.S. Gray, but it's winning because You Were There Too. I hated that book. I rage read the end of that book. Murder on Cape Cod, The Off Limits Rule. Murder on Cape Cod. The Off Limits Rule, another book that was terrible. Who's that by? Sarah Adams, I think. Nor by Nnedi Okorafor. And Too Late. Hate read that book too. That's like Colleen Hoover, no way. Okay, The Power of Habit. The Shadows Between Us. I didn't really particularly care for either of these, so I guess I'll just take The Shadows Between Us, but it's definitely going to get knocked out. Quick. There's more in there, I can't get them. Okay, Throne of Glass. Dr. Dearest. Throne of Glass. I think Dr. Dearest was the R.S. Gray about the romance with the older brother's best friend, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Spy Family, Death by Pumpkin Spice. Spy Family Volume 1, I liked it, but I don't think anything really happened, so I'm going to say Death by Pumpkin Spice for now, but like Spy Family is not bad at all. Black Sun. Black Sun or Not So Nice Guy. I don't even remember Not So Nice Guy, but I really did not like Black Sun, so we're going to choose Not So Nice Guy. And then the last two, Covet is stuck in the bottom. Okay, Covet and Crush. Okay, which one of these books did I like better? I'm gonna say Covet, even though I feel like they're kind of all the same. Round 2. The Monarchs, A Court of Mist and Fury, The Monarchs. Black Sun, Spy Family, Spy Family. Okay, The Taming of the Shrew, Shadow of Night. Shadow of Night. Wasn't a huge fan of The Taming of the Shrew. Okay, Ancillary Justice, Dr. Dearest. Dr. Dearest wins. Crave, You Were There Too. Obviously Crave. Okay, Not a Happy Family. One Step Too Far. Oh, interesting. The same person gave me both of these books too. I'm gonna say Not a Happy Family. Okay. Book of Life. Second First Impressions, The Book of Life. Crush and Simply Clean. Simply Clean is just a book about cleaning, so I'm going to say Crush because a book about cleaning is not super enjoyable. Finding Your Element, The Off Limits Rule. We're going to say The Off Limits Rule, even though I did not like that book. The Power of Habit, Halloween Party Murder. I'm going to say Halloween Party Murder, even though I didn't like it. Crown of Midnight, The Fill-In Boyfriend. Crown of Midnight. I'm Glad My Mom Died. Too Late. I'm Glad My Mom Died for sure. Again, hate read Too Late. Colleen Hoover is not my jam. Well Matched, Heir of Fire. I'm going to choose Well Matched, I think. Round 3. Not a Happy Family. Crown of Midnight. Crown of Midnight. Spy Family Volume 1. Well Matched. Oh, sorry, Spy Family. Well Matched is gonna win. Okay. Halloween Party Murder, Dr. Dearest. I'm gonna say Dr. Dearest. Shadow of Night. I'm Glad My Mom Died. I'm Glad My Mom Died. This one is Crush. The Book of Life. Crush. I wasn't like a huge fan of the Discovery of Witches series. Oh, and then there's just 3 left, and I'm just going to pick one of them, and that will give me my 6. Okay, so The Monarchs, The Off Limits Rule, Crave. The Monarchs for sure. Okay, so now for the actual brackety part. I put them all back in, and then I'm just going to choose 2, pick 1, and then put 1 in, and like put that one in the bracket, and then you'll see what's happening. Okay, Vow of Thieves, a Not So Meet Cute. Definitely a Not So Meet Cute. All right, so then we have Throne of Glass and A Plus One for Murder. I really liked A Plus One for Murder, so that's next. We have The Shadows Between Us and Date Me Like You Mean It. Again, I did not like The Shadows Between Us, so Date Me Like You Mean It is kind of just automatically gonna win. Let's be real. Stay. Okay, Pink is Not a Color, Death by Pumpkin Spice. I'm actually gonna choose Pink is Not a Color. I really thought this book was cute. It was like the other colors, like the primary colors were making fun of pink and telling them that they weren't a color. I don't know. It was cute. I liked it. The Great Hunt and I'm Glad My Mom Died. Again, I'm Glad My Mom Died was really good, but it just like The Great Hunt was entertaining. So we're going to have to go with The Great Hunt. I'm sorry, Jeanette McCurdy. Your book was fantastic. I appreciate you sharing your lived experience. But The Great Hunt was entertaining. So, all right. Book lovers and Love the One You Hate. We're going to say book lovers. A Discovery of Witches. Oh, I got 3. And The Fortunate Ones. Okay. I'm going to say The Fortunate Ones just because, again, Discovery of Witches wasn't like my favorite thing ever. Covet. The Inheritance Games. Obviously, The Inheritance Games is going to win that one. Dial A for Aunties. Nettle and Bone. Oh. These are 2 like polar opposite books and they were both really good. And I really liked both of them. I'm gonna choose Nettle and Bone. I'm a fantasy girl, so if it has to be one or the other, it's gonna be fantasy. So that's really what that just came down to, is that one of them is fantasy. Crown of Midnight. Noir. I'm gonna say Noir. I liked Noir. Crown of Midnight was just like another part of the series, but Noir was its own story, so I liked it. Murder on Cape Cod. A Court of Wings and Ruin. A Court of Wings and Ruin. I think we'll win that one. I'm sorry if the camera's shaking like it's on the table that I'm doing my little bracket thing on. Anything You Can Do. R.S. Gray again. The Ravens. Anything You Can Do is one of my favorite R.S. Grays that I read, but The Ravens was really good. I'm going to say Anything You Can Do, even though I really liked The Ravens. All right. Almost there. The Hawthorne Legacy, The Monarchs. I'd have to say The Hawthorne Legacy, which means the Raven series is completely out of the running, which doesn't seem fair because I really enjoyed that duology, but oh well, I guess. It is what it is. All right. Well Matched. The Eye of the World. Okay, The Eye of the World is obviously going to win that one. All right. Well Matched wasn't my favorite in the series, so. Okay, Crush. The Mask of Mirrors. Obviously, The Mask of Mirrors is going to win that one. And the last 2 are Not So Nice Guy, Dr. Dearest. Not So Nice Guy was better than Dr. Dearest. Okay, so A Not So Meet Cute versus A Plus One for Murder. A Not So Meet Cute, I really enjoyed. So, but I really enjoyed A Plus One for Murder too. I'm going to say A Not So Meet Cute, I think. Okay, so Date Me Like You Mean It versus Pink is Not a Color. Date Me Like You Mean It was not one of my favorite R.S. Gray, so I'm going with Pink is Not a Color. It's really weird to have a spicy romance versus a children's picture book. But here we are. Okay, The Great Hunt versus Book Lovers. I'm sorry, Great Hunt, but I really love Book Lovers and Emily Henry, so that one wins. The Fortunate Ones versus the Inheritance Games. It's going to go to the Inheritance Games. I loved that whole series. Okay, over here we have Nettle and Bone versus Noir. I'm going to say Nettle and Bone. I was just in the mood for like a Grimm-esque fairy tale when I read that, so it really hit the spot. A Court of Wings and Ruin versus Anything You Can Do. I'm going to say Anything You Can Do. The Hawthorne Legacy versus The Eye of the World. I'm going to give it to The Eye of the World. And Mask of Mirrors versus Not So Nice Guy. Obviously Mask of Mirrors. And now I see some issues here, but okay. Actually, this is going to be pretty easy, I think. Well, I don't know. Okay, so we have A Not So Meet Cute versus Pink Is Not a Color. I'm going to give it to A Not So Meet Cute. Pink Is Not a Color was cute, but, you know. Book Lovers versus the Inheritance Games. I loved both of these books, so I'm going to give it to the Inheritance Games, only because Book Lovers is not my favorite Emily Henry book. So if this was Beach Read, like 100% that would win. But I'm going to give it to the Inheritance Games. Okay. Nettle and Bone versus Anything You Can Do. Obviously, it's going to be Nettle and Bone. This one's bad. So we have The Eye of the World versus The Mask of Mirrors. This right here is an issue for me. I really don't know what to do. I'm gonna give it to The Eye of the World just because it's classic. And The Mask of Mirrors, although I loved it, that like 180 in the middle did kind of throw me for a loop. So I'm gonna give it to The Eye of the World. Okay, so A Not So Meet Cute versus the Inheritance Games. I'm gonna give it to the Inheritance Games. A Not So Meet Cute I did really enjoy, but again, it's just a spicy romance, so it's nothing like particularly groundbreaking. The Inheritance Games I really, really enjoyed. So that brings us to Nettle and Bone versus The Eye of the World. I loved Nettle and Bone, but I also really, really loved The Eye of the World. Would I say The Eye of the World might be my favorite book from last year, though? Did I make a mistake? Because when I'm just like, no, my favorite book last year was blank, I keep thinking Mask of Mirrors, but I don't know if it's because that was legitimately my favorite book of last year or if I'm just upset that I kicked it out for this one. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to give it to Eye of the World. I'm sorry, Nettle and Bone, I did love you, but, you know. Okay, and then this one is actually pretty easy now that I have eliminated all the ones that I was sad to eliminate. The Inheritance Games versus Eye of the World. I'm going to give it to Eye of the World. So I guess at the end of the day, out of all 52 books I read last year, The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan was the best book I read last year. There we go. There you have it. We gave it to Eye of the World. That's it. My favorite book or the best book I read in 2022 was The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your favorite book of 2022 was, if you can remember back that far. I know this video is a little bit late, but yeah, that'll be it for this time, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!